Hey guys, welcome to the Artisan channel, and today we're going to take a close look at the Saitake 7007F1. Not to be confused with the Saitake 7007X. This here is a little bit newer and has some other features that the older one doesn't have. So we're going to test out this controller with Nvidia streaming using the Moonlight application. That's how I mostly use my phone and controller setup to play some high-end PC games. And I'll be able to tell the difference between this controller and the many other controllers that I have tested out in the past and see if this is a total steal or not. And then after that, we're going to test this controller out in its shooter mode for Android and see if that is all functional and well. And after that, last but not least, what we'll do is we'll test out an emulator and I'll give you my opinion and verdict about how the controller feels and stuff like that. And that will be a wrap. So let's get into the video. So here I got Watch Dogs 2 running on my smartphone and controller setup. It actually is running on my PC, which is in my bedroom, but I'm streaming it using my internal LAN connection in my home. So it runs pretty well. It actually runs in 90 Hz because the phone has 90 Hz refresh rate on its screen, which is awesome and absolutely fluid. But the main focus of this video is the controller, so we're gonna test out the controller and see how well it works. It's quite easy to press on the analog sticks, which is a very nice thing, actually much better than my original PC controller that I used to play this game, so I can tell the difference quite well. And generally speaking, there is not much input lag that I notice, even though it has a double lag, let's say the input lag from the Bluetooth and the lag from the Wi-Fi using the streaming service that I have. But it works awesomely and I am very satisfied with this. The triggers are not analog triggers, which means that they are not gradually pressable, but they are just clicky, and that's not really a problem if you don't play a racing game. But yeah, I don't think there are any telescopic controllers that you can get a gradual hold press with right now in the market that I know of. But as you see, it runs absolutely fine. Can test it on a ride here. So we're going to test some shooting right now. Generally I suck at shooting in this game. I mostly like to do it in espionage style, but I want to test it out anyways. Wow, he's still alive. Alright, I'm gonna die like this. But you get the point. It is actually working very well compared to a controller. If I had a regular controller, probably my performance like this would be the same. But yeah, it wasn't a smart move anyways. It's not the issue with the controller, it's the issue with my gameplay. So the controller generally is very good. The buttons have low travel distance, which means you can easily press all the buttons It's not a long press or a mushy press, it's actually very nice. And the D-pad is functional, a little bit more mushy than the ABXY buttons, but still very nice. Let's move on to another game. So I got the controller all paired up into shooter mode for Android and downloaded the V3 Shooting Plus app that you can download for this controller. It's made specifically for this controller apparently. And we got all the presets in this catalog over here. You can just click on it and download the preset, and then you'll have the right preset for the default control setting of that certain game that you have downloaded the preset for. Now we can move over to Call of Duty over here, and then we can check out if it's working. And as you see here, everything is at its right spot, and we can move into some gameplay right now. Now, I mostly don't play shooter games using these types of controllers. I mostly use half a controller like the Gamestream G6, but this is working awesome. And yeah, it's functional. It is absolutely as advertised. I just suck at using this type of controller because I need a touch screen to play on, since that's what I'm used to. But I can get used to this actually. I might test it out some more afterwards. So that was that for the shooter part of this review, and we're going to move on to the emulator part of this, and I'll give you some more insight about how the controls and buttons feel for this particular controller. Now I've got it all paired up with my OnePlus 7 Pro, and I've tested it around a little bit. The inputs are instantaneous. I don't notice any input lag. A thing that I did notice about the ABXY buttons is that they're very nice and have low travel distance compared to other controllers. So it's good for competitive gameplay. The triggers are nice and clicky. They have low travel distance as well. The start and select are exactly like the ABXY buttons. And the analog sticks are a total rip-off of the Nintendo Switch. They have a nice rubber nub over them that is different than the Nintendo Switches, but I'm able to tell by the foot of the analog stick that this is exactly like a Nintendo Switch analog stick, and the click feels the same as well. Now, this is not a bad thing because this is manufactured by a Chinese manufacturer, not by Nintendo, so probably will not have to worry about any analog stick drifting like the Nintendo Switch. The D-pad, on the other hand, is contact pads. They're nice. They don't have really a low travel distance, but I really like it, and it's a PlayStation type layout. I said that this controller is a little bit different than the older X version. That's because the face buttons here, you have the Android button and the iOS button instead of home and mode. And here we have the view and edit button instead of start and select. As well as the LED indicators, they are indicated in a different way and used in a different way. Before it was 1, 2, 3, 4, now it's Android, iOS and HID to depict the pairing modes that this controller has. On the back of the controller, you'll be able to tell how to connect this to your phone. If you click on the Android button, you'll go into Android shooter mode. If you click on the iOS button, you'll go into iOS shooter mode. If you hold an X plus Android button, you'll pair into HID mode. The thing I did notice while connecting this to my phone is that if you had it once connected in Android mode or iOS mode, whatever, then you'll have to forget the connection on your Android phone in the settings and then reconnect it while pairing it into HID mode. Otherwise it will not work properly. That's not a big issue at all. I don't consider it an issue at all. I have no problem with that. The controller generally feels great in my hands. The input lag is almost non-existent in my opinion, and for the rest this is a blast while using it. The small gripe I had is that it has a micro USB port instead of a USB Type-C port like the iPega had that I reviewed in my last video. But for the rest, this one here is a lot better than the iPega, but still it is not wide enough for tablets. It barely even fits this phone, so that's the thing to keep in your mind. Now that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.